Ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls, welcome to another episode of Inside the Mug, where we travel inside the mug to get an idea or a little behind the scenes look at what was going on in the last episode of Pod Tiki. My name is Tony, and we are here inside the mug. I think this is episode 14, 15. I should have looked at that before I sat down, but I promise you I will look at it before I post it, so I'll get it right. But today we are talking about the last episode of Pod Tiki, plus a couple of other things. The last episode of Pod Tiki was on the Moscow Mule. Now, I know that's not a tiki drink. In fact, we're starting the year off with a couple of non-tiki drinks. Spoiler alert for the upcoming episode. But I promise you, after that, we're going to dive in the spring full into tiki for the rest of the summer. I got a couple of things planned I'm excited about. But, just to touch on that real quick, I've always tried to incorporate Prohibition era and classic cocktails into the Pod Tiki oeuvre so that, I don't know, I feel like everything kind of stems from that, right? And the people that created these drinks, a lot of the early guys, the Don the Beachcombers and the Trader Vic's, these guys, they were a product of that time period, that post-prohibition, trying new things. And these cocktails, much like everything in history, we owe a lot to our antecedents that came up with these things before us and the roots of them. And as much as I don't know, I try to be a purist and try to find the OG versions of these cocktails. And the Moscow Mule was fun because we don't get to feature a lot of vodka on the Tiki podcast. Even on the Prohibition era cocktails, because like I talk about in the episode, vodka was kind of a late addition to the American zeitgeist of drinking culture. It was, especially post-Prohibition, when all this stuff was happening and new drinks were getting made and Tiki was a thing and all these people were looking to dive into this new market of opening back up. Well, people were into cocktails that they knew or they remembered or they were able to get their hands on, like the crappy versions during Prohibition. Now they can get really good whiskey again. Now they can get those French wines and brandies, and people didn't really know what vodka was. Like, what is this? There wasn't really a culture behind it, and I gotta be honest with you, I mean, every time I talk about vodka, I feel like I'm being offensive, but by now we have to know it. You have to be a connoisseur of vodka to really understand the nuance behind the flavor. I am not. I've drank in enough of it compared to other things to be able to know that it does have a flavor, and when you get a good one, I know the difference, but it's out of the spirits, especially when you're dealing with exotica and cocktail, or tiki cocktail culture. The vodka it's kind of something that adds body to a drink. It elongates the drink. It doesn't really add a lot of flavor. In fact, if you're gonna have a vodka drink, it usually does aid the spirit to do something like a martini or something with less flavors in it, so that it has a chance to shine. You put vodka in a tiki drink with a bunch of sugars and juices, it's kind of get lost. I mean, the most famous probably drink that I can think of in tiki that uses vodka would be the Blue Hawaiian, famous from Harry Yee, which actually white Puerto Rican rum and vodka, like two light spirits that I mean, really the idea of that cocktail was the Blue Curacao. But this is not a Blue Hawaiian podcast. Or show. This is a Moscow Mule show. So the reason I picked this cocktail for this time was because there's something about, and I think I talk about it a little bit in the podcast. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm sorry. It's been a hectic beginning of the year, so haven't been getting a lot. My routine has been changed a little bit. There's some things going on. Hopefully, some announcements coming soon, both for the podcast and in my personal life. Nothing too bad, nothing to worry about. The podcast is going to still keep going. Everything is actually getting better and better. Got to thank you guys so much for following and for listening and for subscribing. But we'll get there at the end. I picked this cocktail because it really does, this time of year, when the holidays are over, and in Nashville, everything really between between like January 1st and really like St. Patrick's Day, everything is just kind of gray and cold and rainy and windy. And we actually had a pretty mild winter this year, which I'm glad for, but it still is like the holidays are over. There's not really much going on. Uh, you get Valentine's Day gets snuck in there. I got some birthdays in there, but there's not really a lot going on in the beginning of the year. Which makes it a great time to kind of regroup and stay in with the family and your friends and kind of do some low key stuff. I mean, a lot of people do dry January. I did it. That's another reason why you maybe haven't seen as many posts from me. I'm trying to get back in the gym, to eat healthier, things like that. I took some breaks to do the cocktail. I don't think that I faked the episodes. I did drink to do the tastings for the episodes. But like I talked about in the January episode for the buttered rum, it's just a good time to kind of reevaluate, let your taste buds kind of resettle back in. I noticed that even having a couple of drinks after taking, and I did dry January, but then some things that happened in my personal life after that kind of precluded me from drinking for a few weeks here and there. So I've been taking random breaks. I never really got back into my swing of like going out and cocktailing and stuff. So another reason why I'm looking forward to spring, so I can start getting back out to some of these places, at least here in Nashville, that I want to check out. So where was I? Reyka vodka in this time period. It reminds me of this time of year. I remember even the holidays. I remember, let me see, the coldness, the crispness of like ginger beer with that ice cold mug, the copper mug. It really just reminds me of this. It makes something fun about this time of year, like being icy cold. Like it makes it it gives it a gimmick, And I enjoy putting on the pea coat and the scarf and my hat and going out and dressing nice and all that. And but I mean that might just be the Italian in me who likes dressing up in the wintertime and looking nice. But it just the beach bum in me also can't wait for summer to come back around. But oh, hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. There's Mrs. Patiki came home at the front door, and I had to. She came in singing, and I had to go make sure that she can get inside. I lock my wife out when we're not here, just in case there's some shady shit going on. I don't want her to be seen to some gangsters doing some gangster shit. So, anyway, that was a Pulp Fiction reference. She's rolling her eyes at me now from beyond the camera where you can't see. So, back to the Moscow Mule episode. So a lot of people, every time I post one of these mugs online, seem to care more about the mug than they do about the episode or about what I'm posting about. This mug is way more popular than I am. And so I'm going to put this to rest once and for all for you guys that follow the YouTube. This was a promotional item mug that I got from Reyka Vodka because we had the Cocktail Ninja is what he goes by. He's the brand ambassador for Reyka Vodka. We had him on a show. You know what? If I was a better host, I would have looked up the exact name. But we had him on the show way back in the Share Your Buzz days. That was an old podcast I did with my buddy Chris. You guys saw him on the last video we did talking about starting that podcast up this spring. That's one of the big announcements. So on that show, though, we had him come in and talk to us about Reyka, made in Iceland, and all that stuff. And we got a couple of these mugs. We told him what horrors we were for free stuff. I was like, if you send us free stuff, we'll talk about you all the time. And I was just joking with him. And about a month later, we got this giant box that was just filled to the brim with all this Reyka swag. Mugs and all kinds of stuff. Now, I've given most of them away. I actually ran a contest about a year or two ago and gave a couple away. I'm down to my last two, so I'm sorry, but I'm holding on to these. They are probably on Reyka's website, or if you can go around and find the Cocktail Ninja at any of his you know, events around the world. You could probably find some of these out there. They are the copper with the nickel or stainless steel inside. So this cool little window here, I think that's what people like, and they look very nautical. I think that's why people dig it. They look like a, like a what do you call that? Not an iron lung, but that giant the big diving helmet thing. So I get it. They're awesome. I appreciate everybody likes it, but you can go to Reyka and their social media to try to find these. I have no more. It's funny. I went to another reason why I chose this cocktail for this time of year is because my wife and I went to an event one time on a rooftop down here in Nashville where they were doing a Christmas event of some sort where Reyka was sponsoring it, and I just remember drinking the Moscow Mules up on the rooftop. It's cold outside. It's Christmas time. You're kind of feeling in the vibe anyway, and this drink it's just one of those drinks that feels right in the wintertime. You give me a Moscow Mule in like August, it feels weird drinking it. Like I want to drink it when I have a scarf on. I don't know. So that's why I picked it for February. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me see my notes here. What else did I have anything on there? If you want to find the episode with the Cocktail Ninja and all the story about Reyka, the Share Your Buzz podcast, actually it is all over Spotify and iTunes and all that, but if you go to podtiki.com and you go to the search bar, all the Share Your Buzz episodes are actually on podtiki.com. If you go in there to the search bar on the homepage and you search Reyka, the first thing that comes up is the episode where we interviewed the Cocktail Ninja, and you can find him on there. Okay, moving on from the last thing about the episode, I hope you guys got or at least thought it was kind of cute, the like sitcom kind of theme that I had in there. It kind of reminded me of doing that cheesy kind of sitcom approach to it, because keeping intact with this time of year and the icy drink, I happen to have, here in Nashville when we get an ice storm, nobody knows what they're doing. I actually had 2 days home from work because of the ice storm. So what did I do during those 2 days? I actually binge watched that 90s show on Netflix. And which is really funny that it's all done in the style of like those 90s sitcoms, which I really dug, and it kind of reminded me of being a teenager in the 90s and watching those shows, and it kind of gave me the idea of doing the show in that, having that kind of thing that was on my mind. All I do, here's a secret, guys, I am not that great at making things up, so I just take things from culture around me and spit it out in my own way. I'm not going to use the term artist, but I just more of a regurgitator, I suppose, through my own lens. But what do I want to say? Some people say artist. I don't use the term brilliant lightly, but I'm just saying. No, I'm just kidding. So, what else is next? Yeah. Oh, I did get some slack on. I want to address this real quick. I did get some slack on Facebook for, saying, hey, if you like drinking vodka, but you don't want to support Russia, drink Reyka, I like it, and then a bunch of people saying, well, most vodka is not made in Russia. Most vodka is blah 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 blah. Here we go, blah. And like 3 or 4 people, well, actually, dude, don't be glib. What is with that? This has happened to me a lot of times in life, and maybe it's me. I'm sure it is. Most things are, but people that pick apart little parts of something, of a story or a comment that aren't really relative to the main goal, and then, you got the idea of what I was trying to say. I'm trying to promote Reyka vodka. I'm trying to say this is what I like, and also you do know that vodka is indelibly tied to Russia. We all know that. We all link this. There is also a giant story in the news right now. It's been going on for a year about Russia going to war, and we're all you get the idea. You get the milieu, the zeitgeist of what I'm trying to say. You understand I'm trying to promote Reyka using a big news story right now. Yes, we all understand that lots of spirits are not made in the places that they initially are tied to. But that's not the point of what I was trying to say. Don't latch on to something in the periphery, some ancillary or adjunct little tidbit of information, and be like, well, actually, most vodka is not made in the. Yeah, we know, buddy, we know, all you guys. It's just that's not important. That's not the point of what I was trying to get to. Focus on the through line, the idea, and all this ancillary stuff is just meant to enhance the story. It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to get to the point. Now, what that vehicle is not the important part. It's the framing narrative to get to the punchline, the story. All right, so I understand. Maybe people just want to feel involved and think that they're just getting involved with the thread, with the storyline. Okay, maybe I misread it, and I apologize for that. I often, feel like I would like to be involved with the people that I know that are doing stuff that I think I have some input on. But unfortunately, in the time we live on, you got to use Occam's razor and say the most easiest answer to get to is probably the right one, and that makes me think that these people are just being glib, just trying to say that they know something that they don't think I know, and they want to give their 2 cents in. So if I lose a couple of followers from that, I apologize. I hope you don't leave. But I have to be honest in saying this kind of happens to me all the time. Just focus on the main idea and not, just assume. I guess I just assume everybody does this. I guess I just assume that 2/3 of what everybody says is bullshit. But if you get the main point, then what does it matter? Okay, moving on. The mug, I touched on everything else. Alright, well, the last thing I wanted to touch on, or the second to last thing, is you see here, I got my brand new bottle of Pierre Ferrand Cognac, and this is going to be, I have this because, well, for one, I like it. For two, it is going to be an ingredient in the next episode of Pod Tiki. This is if you want to hint. So, the reason I have this here is because wife and I had this decanter that we've been wanting to use, or not, is it a, yeah, decanter. And I always get decanter and carafe mixed up. But I've always thought it was funny. I have a hard time, deciding what to put in a decanter or what to use it, because, first of all, the bottle on some of these bottles that are coming out now are just, beautiful. I mean, the French here, they have a very good way, they have a way of being elegant and classy while still being decadent. And it's not too much, but you can see all the leaf and the statues and the cupids, or the cherubs rather, and on the label, everything looks really detailed, but in a classy way that doesn't overdo it. I mean, the bottle's got some nice, there's a not fleur-de-lis, but there's a word for these kind of leafy things. It escapes me right now. But the bottle is really pretty. It's really nice. In fact, one of the reasons why I love pub culture is the idea of all these bottles lined up behind the bar, and then when the light's shining off of them, and the glassware the martini glasses hanging, and mirrors on the walls, and the pictures, and the old school bar pictures that the Budweiser signs that are mirrors with printed on. That stuff just seems so cool to me, and not just liquor bottles, but the glassware. Remember, I don't know if you guys ever had any, I guess it was an old-timey thing, but my grandparents had cologne and perfume bottles that were in the shapes of things. They were pieces of art. In fact, I have one from my grandpa that's a lion's head. It's really cool, and I was like, man, a lot of design goes into this really cool bottle. But then again, there's also something elegant and classy about not having a brand name or a lot of decoration on your bottle, right? There's a reason why I don't wear a lot of clothes with brand names or writing or something on it. There's something I think that's kind of cool and a little bit more, I keep on using the same words. I don't want to say classy again, but something a little bit more regal, a little bit more, upright than, when you don't have any labels on it. And also there's a perception that goes with that, right? It's funny, you might go to someone's house who might be a little wealthy or at least perceived that way, and they have their alcohol in a decanter or something like that, and but you don't know, right? You assume that it's good stuff because they have it in a decanter and it's in a study in a globe bar or something, but you don't. Who know? I mean, it could be the cheap shit in a decanter, which leads me back to the point that I always make is that I truly believe. Look, I drink a lot of coffee, wine, spirits, smoke cigars. There's anything that could possibly be like a vice could also it's there. There's you have to. There's a level of connoisseur, level of passion that goes into it, where you know the differences. If you drink it a lot and you smoke it a lot, or you sip coffee, you can tell the differences between the good stuff and the bad stuff. But then you get to a certain point. I talk about it all the time, diminishing returns, where you get to a certain level, and unless you're an expert in the field and a real connoisseur and kind of douchey, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. If you're a regular old schmuck like me who just likes the good stuff, like once in a while, how am I gonna know if I go to someone's house that they really got the good stuff? And like, if I don't see the bottle, right? Like, you're not gonna know. No one's gonna know. Now, if someone pours you a decanter of Jack Daniels, like you're gonna tell it's you know what I'm saying? But I mean, you get a $50 bottle of brandy. If I don't know my cognacs, I'm not gonna know if it's Pierre Ferrand or if it's freaking some cheap stuff, But I don't know. So I kind of go back and forth between leave it in a bottle or use it as a decanter or put it in the decanter. I just never used this decanter. Wife got it a few years ago for Christmas, and we just never used it. So I think it'd be kind of cool to try it out. I got a buddy coming to visit next week, so I thought it'd be cool to have this on the counter and look kind of cool. So that's why I'm gonna do this now. And I don't know. I'm sorry if there's some kind of way that you're supposed to put alcohol into a decanter. I'm going to embarrass myself if there is because I don't know. I assume it's okay to aerate it, so you're just going to put it in there. Do you want to, Miss Patiki, do you want to come on and tell me how to do this? Am I going to watch me spill it and laugh at me? Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, it's good. So, I guess I'm just going to pour it in there and let it go. All right. Oh no. Got a little spillage on my finger. That's good. That's right. It'll give me a little taste. So, there you have it. There you have a decanter of Pierre Ferrand fine cognac. So, nice and classy. So yeah, we're going to put that over on my bar area over there and enjoy some of that when I use it for the next episode of Pod Tiki, and then hopefully in the summertime it comes quickly, and I'll be sitting on the back patio with a cigar and a glass of brandy and having some nice summer nights on the patio, and when it warms up a little bit, we'll get some more patio edition of Inside the Mug. Until then, please, last final thing, go check out the new issue of Exotica Modern. It's issue number 18, and I have I check out all of the articles. There are some really good ones in here. Like I say all the time, I am partial to the music section. I think that is new music coming out is really cool. But I actually have a double-page article in here all about the Royal Hawaiian, which has become one of my favorite. I'm sorry, looking at the dumbass mailman who wrinkled my copy, but the Royal Hawaiian, one of my favorite drinks. Did an episode on it last year. Actually, I did that. That episode is always going to be memorable to me because I wrote that episode while I was quarantined with COVID up in my bedroom. Check out the article. Please read it and let me know what you think. Please continue to support Exotica Modern. If you want to see, if you like my stuff and you want more of it, let them know. Let them know that you like my stuff, and it always helps. It's all about spreading the love of Tiki and spreading the word of Pot Tiki. So, cool stuff on the horizon. Probably the next episode of Inside the Mug will have the big announcement. I'm just finalizing some details, probably end of this month, and then I'll be able to release, you know, the info on what to look out for and how soon. And I'm not going to keep on pushing this all summer and lead you guys on. I promise you, this is going to happen in the spring at some point. So until next time, keep it tiki. Please follow Pod Tiki on Instagram. That's where you can find me the most, at pod_tiki. Personal page is rum_poet. If you, I get a lot of traction on Facebook, so I'm really surprised at how many people follow me on Facebook. I thought Facebook was kind of dying, but if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Pod Tiki. I respond a lot on there now, more than ever, because I noticed that I have a lot of people on there. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please tell your friends or anybody that you know that's into Tiki to like and subscribe. I think I'm about 15 people away from being able to start doing live podcasts, and then we'll do something like that. I don't know, some stuff's in the works. So if you're interested in sponsoring the show, I've got some info on that. You can reach out to me directly under the DMs on any of my social medias, or you can reach out to me via email at tmanfetano@gmail.com. That'll come right to me. Yeah, if you're a tiki bar or a tiki bartender that wants to be featured, or you just have some, maybe you're just starting out, maybe you're a tiki bar, maybe you're local here in Nashville. If you're an artist, tiki artist that is just trying to get the name out, give me a shout, shoot me a line. I'll be happy to have you on and talk a little tiki with you on one of the Tiki Chat episodes. And I think that's it. I think I've rambled on long enough, you guys. And honestly, I'm getting tired, and it's dinner time. So go ahead and pick up the latest episode, or the latest issue of Exotica Modern, if you can still find it. Let everybody know that you heard it here. Like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. All right. Get back in here. Get back inside the mug. Come on, get back. Oh, yeah.